Welcome to the channel. Strand 3, question number 5. It says using the formula x equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac or otherwise, find the coordinates of the points of intersection of the function y is equal to x squared minus 2 and y is equal to 2x plus 1. So first we will try to solve it by factorizing and then solving, and then we will use the quadratic formula. So one technique to use over here is solving it simultaneously. We can see y is equal to x squared minus 2 and y is equal to 2x minus plus 1. So we can use the technique of y is equal to y to simultaneously solve. The y over here, right hand side of that, will be equal to the right hand side of that because y is equal to y. So we will have x squared minus 2 is equal to 2x plus 1. Now collect everything on the left hand side. X squared minus 2. Bring the 2x this side becomes minus 2x. Bring the plus 1 this side becomes minus 1. What is left on the right hand side? 0. The like terms over here are minus 2 and minus 1. They become minus 3, but we'll write the x term first. So x squared minus 2x. These two become minus 3 and that is equal to 0. Now this quadratic equation x squared plus 2x minus 3, we will factorize it. The factors of 3 are 3 and 1 and the factors of x squared are x and x. So 3 and 1. For x squared it is x and x. Now between 3 and 1, one of them has to be negative because we have negative 3. It can't be negative 1. Because 3 and negative 1 add to give you positive 2, but we have a negative 2 over here. So the correct order would be put the negative sign with 3. Then negative 3 and positive 1, they will add up to give you the middle term, the coefficient of the middle term, negative 2. So these two numbers must add to give you the coefficient of the middle term over here. And then now we're going to group them. So we have x minus 3 into x plus 1 is equal to 0. So from here, either x minus 3 is equal to 0 or x plus 1 is equal to 0, and then we solve. So if x minus 3 is equal to 0, x will be equal to 0 plus 3. One of your x values, x1, is equal to 3. And from the other binomial, x plus 1 is equal to 0. So your x is equal to 0 minus 1. Your second x value is equal to negative 1. Now these two x values you substitute back into any of the two equations, either the first one or the second one, to find the corresponding y values. Let's use the second equation. Y is equal to 2x plus 1. So let's find y1. y1 will be equal to twice the value of x1 plus 1. So x1 over here we have found it to be 3. So put 3 in place of x1. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1. Your y1 is equal to 7. Let's find y2. y2 would be 2 times the value of x2 plus 1. That is equal to 2 times x2 is negative 1. So put that in place of the x and then plus 1. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2 plus 1. So your y2 is equal to negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. So your final answer will be in the form of coordinates x1, y1 and x2, y2. Therefore, our points of intersection, the points of intersection are x1, y1, that means 3 and 7, and x2 and y2, which is negative 1 and negative 1. You can write either one first. You could have written negative 1, and 3, 7 on the other side. But what they're looking for is this coordinate and that coordinate as the points of intersection of those two functions. I'll give you a little bit of overview what this question is about. The question is asking the point of intersection of these two functions. This is a quadratic function moved 2 units down. So let me show you on the Cartesian plane. The first function is y is equal to x squared minus 2. The parabola y equals x squared sits on the origin with a U shape, moving that 2 units down, 1, 2, so sitting at negative 2, the turning point. So your graph would roughly look like something like that. Just a rough estimate, crossing negative 2 on the y-axis. And the function y is equal to 2x plus 1 has a x-intercept, y-intercept of 1 and an x-intercept of negative half. If you solve x equals to 0 for the y-intercept and y equal to 0 for the x-intercept. If you solve that, you get your y-intercept to be equal to 1 and your x-intercept equal to negative half. So negative half and 1. So this graph will be a straight line. It will be a straight line going that way and then that way. So what the question is asking, the two places where the two graphs intersect, the parabola and the straight line, they intersect over here at point A, or we can call it P1, the first point of intersection, and then this one over here P2, the second point of intersection. And we have found that to be negative 1, negative 1. So this one over here is negative 1 and negative 1. And then this point over here is 3, 7. That means 3 on the x-axis and then 7 on the y-axis. But you don't need the graphical explanation over here. The question just requires 3, 7 and negative 1, negative 1, the 2 points of intersection for the full marks. Make sure you're working out so that even if your final answer is wrong, you can be awarded partial marks for correct working out. And now I will show the second technique, the quadratic formula method, to solve this. So if we are trying to solve this question by using the quadratic formula, we still have to do y is equal to y method and then equate the right hand sides of the two equations and then get it in this form, the quadratic form, so that we get the values of our a, b and c, ax squared plus bx plus c. So here we can see that we have found the values. The coefficient of x squared is 1. So your a is equal to 1. The coefficient of x is equal to negative 2. So your b is equal to negative 2. And the constant number is negative 3. So not 3, negative 3. C is equal to negative 3. So these negative signs are very important. Don't leave them out. A positive number will be positive, but with a negative sign it will be negative. Very important. And then now we start with the quadratic formula. So the formula is negative b. So negative of b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2 times the value of a. So the value of b is negative 2. That comes over here in the first bracket. And the negative 2 goes over there. Value of a is 1. The value of c is negative 3. And the value of a is 1. So negative of negative 2, 2 negatives gives me positive. So our formula comes down to 2 plus or minus square root of negative 2 squared. You can verify with the calculator, that is equal to 4. So it's not negative of 2 squared. It is negative 2 squared, means negative 2 times negative 2. That gives you 4. Minus 4 times 1 times negative 3 is negative 12. And that whole thing divided by 2. And that comes down to 2 plus or minus square root of 4 minus 12 is plus 12. Minus the negative becomes plus. So 4 plus 12 is 16. And that divided by 2. Square root of 16 is equal to 4. So 2 plus or minus 4 and that divided by 2. So your x1 will be equal to, let's follow the plus sign. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. And your x2 will be equal to, let's follow the minus sign. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is equal to negative 1. So I hope you followed that. 2 plus 4, 6. 6 divided by 2, 3. And then you follow the minus sign. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 over 2 is equal to negative 1. So you got our x1 and x2 values. And then we plug them in to any of the two equations to find the corresponding y values. Let's use the second equation because this one has a square sign, can be a bit confusing, complicated. So your y2 will be equal to twice, let's find y1 first. Your y1 will be twice the value of x1 plus 1, and that is equal to twice x1 plus 1. x1 is equal to 3, and then plus 1. So your y1 is equal to 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. And then your y2 will be equal to twice the value of x2 plus 1. And that is equal to 2 times x2 is negative 1. So negative 1 plus 1. And your y2 is equal to 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. So our final answer over here. So our final answer is the points of intersection. Points of intersection. The two coordinates x1, y1. So 3 and 7. 3, 7. And x2, y2. Negative 1, negative 1. Negative 1, negative 1. The 2 points where the graphs of x squared minus 2 and 2x plus 1 intersect are those in any order. This one first and that one second, or this way. So I hope you understand about simultaneously solving the equation and also how to solve using the quadratic formula. Remember, I've shown you 2 methods, but on that exam, you just have to choose one. Choose one method to solve the answer. Thanks for watching.